and relax. And relax and relax. 4 minutes past. Considering, hello Rocky Rooster. Somebody can smell bacon. Considering that about 15 minutes ago, wasn't really even dressed. I've been doing lots of stuff this morning, which didn't involve a camera. So considering that, I think we've done quite well really to be here at 5 past. Hey HB Interior Design. Hey everybody, how are you all doing? On another absolutely spectacular day. Is anybody else having the conversation in their house that, is this beautiful weather anything to do with the fact that cars aren't driving in? We're not pumping out, you know, God knows what into the environment. I don't know. Is anyone else having that conversation that just all of this weather is a bit weird at the minute? I don't know. I'll tell you what I do think though. Everyone's got summer hair. Is there any blondes out there? Just one sec. I mean, I have got quite blonde hair, but I bought this online. And so I've got summer hair at the minute, spraying like sun in my hair to do my roots because we've all got dodgy hair. Anyway, we're not here to talk about hair, are we? We're not here to talk about hair. But the one thing that reminded me was that, yes, has to be the most beautiful spring ever. It is, isn't it? It's a bit weird. Is it something to do with the fact that we're not pumping all that shit into the environment? I am going to just actually tie my hair back because we shouldn't really have loose hair, should we, when we're cooking? Although I'm sure that we all do when we're at home, don't we? We don't tie our hair back when we're cooking for our families, do it just because the odd stray hair might go into it. But somebody is bound to say, look at her cooking with the long hair. So I'll tie it back. Right. What we're going to cook today, we're going to cook something for our renovation recipe that I have cooked all the way through our renovation, which is Spanish Omelette. Really, really brilliant meal that can be, or addition to it. It can either be a meal in itself or like an addition to a meal, which can then be put in the fridge and nibbled later. It's just as good hot as it is cold. In fact, I think it's better cold, to be perfectly honest. And the other good thing about it is you can randomly throw in different ingredients. So today I'm going to do Spanish omelette with some new potatoes, which have been cooked and cooled. They're far better, if you're going to do a Spanish omelette, for me they're far better using new potatoes or Charlotte potatoes or Vivaldi's, like a really firm salad type potato, is much better than Maris Pipers because they fall apart. And they've been cooked and cooled. I don't know what happened there. I lost you there for a second. Hey, Blend Design. I can't speak. Blend Design. Number 4 styling. So we're going to have my Spanish omelette with some new potatoes. I've already chopped. I've tried to be a bit organised, so it speeds things up a little bit. You know what? Because we've just all got so much to do. I've got some onion and some garlic already in there. Who doesn't like garlic in their Spanish omelette? And if people don't, then just don't give them any of it. I've got a little bit of leftover courgette. I've got some cheese for the top, and I've got some bacon, and we're going to have a barbecue tonight. So I'm going to do extra bacon, because I'm going to throw some in there. I'm going to do like a bastardised Waldorf salad where I've got loads of pears and walnuts and salad. So I'm going to do that with a bit of bacon. So we believe in just, you know, mixing things up a little bit here. And somebody's smelt bacon, so I've got Rocky surgically attached to my ankle down here. I'll show you in a minute. So that's what I'm going to put in our Spanish omelette. So without further ado, what we need to do is I'm going to have to keep turning you backwards and forwards. If you've never made Spanish omelette, it's so easy. It's so easy. So let's, Rocky Rooster, get out of the way. You can see that there. So we can just keep turning you around, can't we? So it can all be done on a single ring induction. So let's get cracking, shall we? I'm going to turn it up to about number 6 because I want to cook my bacon first. I'm going to crisp up my bacon, and then we shall have I found another great food supplier and had another really good idea. You know, I put on the other day about Tenuta Marmorelli, which is where we bought the pasta from. So I bought, let's get the bacon on first actually, and then I can witter. Just one sec. I had, some of you might have seen, I did a little bit of, I think it was my first one really, Moregeous discount code, which felt a bit weird, actually, felt a bit weird to me. I haven't put any oil in this pan, by the way, so I'm just going to crisp up my bacon. And because these are renovation recipes, I'm just going to use the same pan for everything. Because then it's easy, isn't it? Easy on the washing up, especially if you haven't got a kitchen, which if you're doing a renovation recipe, you probably haven't. So I'm just going to do the 3 slices actually, and I'll do that a bit later. I'll turn it on quite high, number 7. Do you remember when we were talking about the Moregeous discount code before, earlier on this week? So it's a bit weird for me. I know Instagrammers and influencers do them all the time, and generally people are getting paid to do them out, and they're like affiliate links and stuff. But actually, during this time of lockdown, it just thought it'd be really nice to share some companies with you that I've ordered from and that I really rate. And so there's no like kickback or all that kind of stuff from it. It's just that they're really good or highly recommended to me. So that was the company. You've probably seen it on the grid, but if you haven't, have a look. And I've ordered some squid ink pasta, which I'm going to do with seafood. Whoop. What else did I order? And then I noticed that some of you have been sending me messages about the things that you've ordered. I've also ordered some saffron risotto. Look at that, this is posh. Cream of truffle mayo. Fancy. And it actually wasn't that expensive. So there's no reason, for me, there's no reason now. I know we can't get out to supermarkets as much, and we can't, oops, I know we can't get out to supermarkets, and we're all saying that food's, there's a shortage of food. But actually, funnily enough, and this is another of the companies I'm going to mention today, what is happening is a lot of them normally go direct to markets, so they sell direct to food halls, direct to restaurants, direct to food markets. A lot of them are actually really struggling to sell their produce. So they are, for the first time ever, have I got any connection? Did I lose you then? Will you let me know? Have you had a drink already? No. So what were we saying? Oh yeah, so a lot of companies, really fantastic food companies, are selling to the public for the first time. And this is a massive bonus for us, isn't it? Because this morning, because I was really struggling to get hold of flour. So that bacon's done enough for me now for my Spanish omelette. Whoop. I was really struggling to get hold of flour, and I was struggling to get hold of semolina to make some shortbread, and also risotto rice. I didn't have any risotto rice in the supermarket, and this is stuff that I cook all the time. A friend of mine sent me a link to an Italian food company. Whoops, one second, just cleaning out this pan. An Italian food company who are selling all this stuff to the public. So I've ordered a massive big bag of plain flour, which was like £10 for a massive bag. So we can, hey Mr. Moregeous, right, my bacon's ready. We can order this stuff. So you need to find in your local area, I'll put the link on to the other company that I found now that are doing flour and rice, big packs of risotto rice. Find them in your area. Look, Google, especially on Twitter. Twitter's a really good place to find them, because a lot of them now are trying to find other avenues to market. So it's a really, really good idea to find and support these companies. I'll put the link. Oh God, I need to turn this around. I'll keep talking to you. Just one sec. I'll put the link of the company I found in Manchester, and so you can find them. But there will be some in your area. What I'm going to do now, and I can't be bothered to turn the camera around again, is I'm just going to stick the onions and the garlic on to cook. Can you hear it sizzling? Of course you can. Oh, there you go, Miss Moregeous, I've got a job for you. I'm going to let the onions and the garlic just cook through, and then put the potatoes in as well. Turn it down a little bit. In fact, here we go. Here we go, hang on a minute. Oh. So what I want is my garlic and onions and potatoes to brown a little bit. Get a little bit crispy. Hang on, turn that down to number 5. And then while those are crisping up, I'm going to chop up my bacon. And I'm going to do my eggs. What, baby?
It's Friday.
Are you? You won't see him. Hang on a minute. Were you here last week when we did? Oh my God! I tell you what. I feel like I've had a Red Bull this morning. Can you tell? Ooh.
I'll be ready. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Moregeous. Make yourself useful. I know you've just been out, but whilst I'm doing this and talking about why I do this, will you do me a favour? Can you just stir those potatoes and onions and garlic? So here I am separating my eggs. Why do we separate eggs when we're making a Spanish omelette? Or why do we separate our eggs when we're making scrambled eggs? And some people don't. I do it all the time, and it's because it makes them nice and fluffy. So you want to make sure that you do not mix your yolk with your white. So don't mix them, because otherwise when you whip up, some of you are going to be expert cooks, aren't you? Some of you are going to know this, but some of you aren't. So even when we're doing renovation recipes, we go the extra mile a little bit. So I'm going to separate my eggs to make my omelette a little bit more fluffy, because otherwise you have flat egg. Which reminds me of when I was little and I used to make flat egg omelettes at my nanny's, because I never used to whip them up. Oh, look at that. Chef Moregeous over there. So we're going to whip up our... And this is something, genuinely, isn't it, that we used to cook all the time when we had absolutely no kitchen. So we just had the single induction hob. And even when we didn't have an oven, I am actually going to put the grill on in a minute. When we've made the omelette, and I'll show you how we throw it all together, I am going to put the grill on just to grill the top of the omelette, because it's quite thick. You want to make sure it's cooked all the way through. So, just whisking up my egg whites. I've used 5 eggs. I'll probably get away with 4 for 2 people. So use a decent sized frying pan as well. Do you know, if you're renovating on your own, you can just make this for one person. But I would generally make a big one and then put half in the fridge. It'll reconnect. Will it reconnect? Will you let me know if that went off completely then? Because it says for me, I get a sign up on it saying paused due to poor connection. But I'm not actually sure whether it goes off for you guys. Will you let me know? Or somebody write something in the messages just to let me know. So I was talking about whether to have, you don't actually have to have any meat in it at all. But I think when we're still doing our renovation, but you want something that's quite a hearty meal, don't you? So you're just shouting from the back that, not shouting, that you can actually put anything in. I feel like broccoli, asparagus is really good as well.
Beautiful.
Asparagus, and we're coming into English asparagus season, aren't we? So asparagus is a fantastic thing to throw into an omelette. What goes really well, doesn't it, with eggs? Asparagus. So what we've got, how we doing? Oh, look at that! Wait till you see this. One sec. Keeps freezing. Well, the video paused for a while. Hopefully, I have put I've put it onto the Wi-Fi, the 4G. So hopefully it won't freeze now.
It was waiting for me.
Was it? Was it waiting for your expert touch?
Waiting for me. Yeah.
So one sec. Whoop. There we go. Right. Oh, thanks for that. So can you see? We've crisped up the potatoes beautifully. Mr. Moregeous, Rocky is hanging around for bacon and Mr. M is now stealing it, which will make Rocky not very happy. So, actually, when we're renovating, I wouldn't bother putting everything into white bowls. Why would you? When you're renovating, you want to minimise washing up. So really, for this, all you'd need is a chopping board and a frying pan. So I've put the bacon in. I'm going to put I've got some courgette today, just because I had half a courgette. I'm going to turn that back up. I've already put some garlic in. And actually, because the bacon's quite salty, I'm not going to bother putting any more salt in. I might put a little bit of pepper in. And I might have to put some more garlic in, I only put half a clove in, and I like it really garlicky. Really garlicky. But can you see, the pan's quite full. Like that. Just move that. Let that crisp up a little bit. And then, I'll tell you what, I'll bring the eggs over here. Woo! So what we've done is whisk up the egg whites. Don't whisk them so they're like a meringue. Don't whisk them so So when you turn the bowl upside head, on your head, it doesn't come out. You're not making meringue, but just so it's a little bit frothy, I'm gonna get my pepper actually. I put a little bit of black pepper in. So I'm not going to put any more salt in. So now I'm just going to gently whisk my egg yolks back into my omelette. There we go. And then I'm going to, and actually in a minute, I'm going to show you something which was a complete accident, which has turned into the best millionaire shortbreads I've ever made in my life. And I might have to make them. I'm talking about baking. Did you see this morning that I've just put on my stories? We're going to be making Welsh cakes on Sunday morning with Michelle. You know when we made the soda bread the other week? I'm going to be making Welsh cakes, although they're going to be her version, Michelle's version, because she says you don't have to put raisins in, and I don't like raisins. So I'm going to put chopped chips in. So make sure you have a little look on stories, and you make sure you get your ingredients ready for Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. Right, I have poured. I'm going to turn that down because that's on number 5 at the minute, which is a little bit high. So you don't want to burn the bottom, and it's really thick, isn't it? So you don't want to burn the bottom and it not cook all the way through. So I'm going to turn that down to number 3. And then turn that down and just leave that to set through a little bit. I'm actually going to put some, I think I have an errant potato. Very nice. I'm actually going to put a little bit of cheese in the top on it already. And I'm going to put my grill on. So what you can do, if you haven't got an oven, so if you've only got the induction hob and you haven't got an oven whilst you are in the middle of your renovation, what you can do is slide, you don't grill the top, is when the omelette is about 50% done, slide it off onto a plate, so you just literally tip it on a plate and then flip it over. It's easier said than done, but I'll tell you what, we could do that. So can you see? Hang on. What you don't want is for the bottom to burn and then the top not be done. So you do have to turn it or grill it. The other thing you can do is just what I'm doing there, is just separate the omelette a little bit and let the runny bits of the egg fall down into the gaps that you make, and that allows the runny sections of the egg to cook, especially if you've done a really thick Spanish omelette like this one. I don't know whether it is a Spanish omelette really, it's just turned into a Moregeous omelette. I think, to be frank, if a Spanish person saw me doing this, they'd probably swear in Spanish and say, how very dare you call that a Spanish omelette? So shall we just call it a Moregeous omelette? Right, I'm going to put some more cheese on. Look at this, it's a meal in itself. All in one pan. What do you think, Rocky? And as I say, you wouldn't have all of these little bowls, would you? And I didn't when we were mid-reno. I only did that just to make sure I was prepared for today, and it didn't take me absolutely ages. Right, just let me turn the grill on. Oh. And actually, it's minimal. Have a look. Oh, just 1 second. It's actually minimal washing up. So if you were to just make that and just have everything on one chopping board and then one pan, that's hardly anything, is it? Which is why... Oh. Oh, yeah. Rocky ran away then because I just dropped the phone on his head. Which is why it was one of the things that we cooked all the time when we were in the middle of our renovation, because it can be massive. And if you think about it, if you've cooked a roast chicken maybe, or if you've cooked some chicken breasts and you've got some leftover, or leftover anything, meat, and you've got some in the fridge, this is something really brilliant just to throw together and have with leftovers. Not that there's much of this left over by the time he gets his hands on it, let me tell you. So that's it. And when you, just let me get that right. When you wobble it, what you need to do is wobble it around a bit. More just laughing at me in the background. To make sure that it's set. And if it's too wobbly, you can see, you definitely need to flip it. So,
Go for it.
Go for it. No, not flipping it like a pancake. Right, okay, so let's show you. This is how I would flip it. It's not really flipping it. So put it in fact that plate's bigger. Let's get a bigger plate. You're gonna laugh, aren't you? Can you imagine if I dropped this? That would be hysterical, wouldn't it? So slide it onto a plate. Driving me insane. It's driving me insane. Look at that. Perfecto. So we've got, so we don't actually have to put that under the grill. And that is pretty much perfect. What you don't want, I'm going to turn it back over. So I've cooked the bottom side a little bit, but the top side has got my cheese on it. Whoa! There you go, it's a little bit of the melted cheese. We don't want to lose that, do we? So we'll put that back on top. Oh. So actually, if you were to serve that, you could turn it over so you've got the vegetables and the potato and everything showing from the bottom, and then sprinkle the cheese on just to let the cheese melt. But I've put, so we've got, you can see it on the bottom. Hang on a minute. What they quite often do in restaurants is they'll have the, with the courgette and the potato and everything, so you can see that, and then sprinkle a bit of parmesan on the top. But I've put loads of cheese because we like loads of cheese. So you can actually flip it either way. And there you go. That's it. And I've done loads of talking, so less than half an hour. Less than half an hour. Got great food on a single induction hob. No excuse for not cooking well when you're doing a renovation. There you go. There's loads of pauses, wasn't there? Was there loads of pauses? But did you manage to kind of get the gist? I've actually been... Let me just move this out of the way. I've actually seen on Dee Campling's feed yesterday a course on how to video... loads? What do you mean loads? You missed loads. You got the gist. I've actually seen a course that you can do on videoing and how to edit stuff. So I've joined onto that, and I've been having a play with Movavi, which just reminds me of that Vic and Reeves thing, whatever it was, but that thing they did. Anyway, it just reminded me of that, Movavi. So I've been playing with that to try and do some sort of condensed videos for IGTV. So if there was loads of pauses, I'll have a bit of faff. And I'll also put some hints on, I'll put some writing on the video. I think while we're all in lockdown, we're kind of learning new skills, aren't we? And that's what I'm determined to do. So I'm trying to teach you guys, renovators, some new skills with your cooking. But I'm also learning loads of new skills with the videoing and how to do stuff. And one of the things I think is I shouldn't rabbit on so much, because once you start me, I just can't stop. So that's it. I'm going to shut up.
Foodie Friday.
It's not normal, is he? Are you happy with doing Foodie Friday?
Foodie Friday.
Yay!
Foodie
This
Friday.
actually is to cool, and this is for tonight's barbecue.
No, it's cool enough.
No, this is to cool down.
It looks cool to me. Looks really cool.
Right. Right. Step away from the omelette. Step away from the omelette.